Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head back over to New Hampshire in America once again, and this of course is another one of the beers that my parents brought back with them from their recent trip over to New England. So for this one we're going to return to Londonderry and we're doing another beer from 603 Brewery, and I guess this one maybe could be described as the big brother of the White Peaks IPA that I did for you a little while ago. So today we're going to have a taste of the Wood Devil Double IPA. This guy comes in at 9.2%, and I'm really interested to try this because, like I said in the White Peaks IPA video, it just seemed that they took a completely different approach to that beer compared to what a number of breweries actually do to their IPAs. It was a little bit more malt leaning and things, which is a nice kind of change of pace when you consider mainly that the focus seems to be on hops these days. So I'm really interested to see how this one turns out, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on the beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from 603 Brewing before. There will be some more in the near future because I've got another 2 beers to review for you, darker ones in the next videos of course. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, prefecture, whatever it is you're actually interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the American beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about 603 Brewing then. So as I mentioned to you earlier, 603 Brewing are based in Londonderry in New Hampshire, which is a little bit to the southeast of Manchester, and it looks on the map as if it's about maybe 2 hours or so to the northwest of Boston over in Massachusetts, which is probably the nearest kind of big city that you're going to find closest to it actually. But they were founded back in 2012, and the brewery's owned by 3 friends who met in university while they were studying engineering. So this is Dan Leonard and then Jeff and Tasman Hughes, who are of course a husband and wife couple. But Dan had homebrewed during university and he perfected a number of different recipes which have made their way into the current range of beers from 603. But originally they were based in Campton, which was to the north of Plymouth, but when the demand for their beers kind of continued to grow, they decided to take the plunge and to develop their own the company into a full-time microbrewery, and they moved to Londonderry. But over the last few years they've been upscaling the production. They say that this is one of the things that they're really interested in because the 3 have an engineering background. They like producing things on the big scale, but trying to kind of keep the quality there. So that's probably something you're going to see over time with this brewery, is that they will experiment and try and push their scale up and things a little bit. But these days they employ over 10 different people, and they've got a tap room at the brewery as well where you can go and visit, and I do believe that's where my parents actually picked up this beer. I believe it was actually at the tap room that they got me the 4 beers that I'm reviewing for you here on the channel. So hopefully I can get out there and check it out for myself sometime. New Hampshire and Vermont and things like that are states that I do need to have a little look at actually, so hopefully I can get up there at some point soon. So yeah, that's all you need to know about the brewery for just now. As I always say, the links and stuff to the brewery website are in the description below, and you can check those out for yourself. But let's actually get on to the tasting of this beer itself. So yeah, I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork on this one then. Here you can see the Wood Devil is a kind of, from what I understand, it's almost like the kind of New Hampshire equivalent to Bigfoot. It's a little bit of a kind of legendary animal, so that's of course what they've named this beer after. There you can see the brewery symbol, the 603, with the shape of the outline, I guess you would say, of New Hampshire there, and then it also has 603 in big white letters over here. Like I mentioned, this guy is a 9.2% double IPA. There isn't much more information available on this one. On the website it just basically told you that they named the beer after the kind of legendary Wood Devils of New Hampshire, and actually it didn't tell you the hops or the malts or anything. In the last video I got the hops and malts from Beer Advocate when I checked it out. But without further ado then, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the taste. A nice little bit of steam as we open it up, and we'll get it out and into the glass. And I tell you something, it's actually a little bit more yellow than a number of double IPAs I've come across. That's one of the brighter IPAs that I can think of that I've come across in recent times, but it looks really nice. So as you can see then, if I bring the beer just up to the camera, I'm just checking my little control down here, it's actually poured quite a nice bright yellowy orange kernel. As I open this beer up, you can smell a nice little bit of tropical and citrusy orange fruit coming out of this. There's a finger of a frothy head on this one. I'd say it's a sort of creamy head. It's almost got a little tiny bit of a almost yellowy tinge to it, actually. It might just be the light coming through the beer, of course, but I would say it's fair to call the head on this one cream coloured. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there. And if I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see it is actually quite a hazy one. There is a good bit of opacity to this beer, but in terms of colour, I think it's fair to describe this one as a kind of yellowy orange. It's definitely more on the yellowy side of things, and if I hold it up to the light here, there are just a few little small particles of sediment floating around in this one, but overall it looks really nice. So let's take a closer look at the aroma then and see how we get on. But yeah, that smells pretty nice. It's actually quite a malty leaning double IPA. There's a good bit of hoppy character coming out of it as well, but for me it's the malts. You can really smell that malt backbone of this beer. So there's a nice bit of caramel in there. You can pick up some of the boozy alcohol notes at 9.2%. It is starting to get into the higher range. For a double IPA, of course, you can go up to like 10 and 11 and stuff, but this one is sort of is starting to push it with the alcohol content for a double IPA. You're starting to get close to triple IPA territory with this one. But yeah, nice bit of biscuity character in there. You can pick up a little bit of breadiness as well. It's almost like, I do wonder if there's these American two-row malts in there. You get this nice kind of distinct bready and biscuity character, but you can get a good bit of that sweeter caramel. There's a little bit of toasted note in there as well. It's almost like a little bit of a toasted kind of caramel, but the hoppy side of things is interesting too. For me, the fruitiness in this one is leaning towards orange, so I'm wondering if there's maybe a bit of Amarillo or something like that in there. I don't quite think it's Mosaic. It does smell more like a kind of oily orange more than anything. There's a wee bit of grapefruit in there and a kind of tropical note as well. Maybe there's some Cascade. I think it does remind me a little bit of Cascade. I am guessing, of course, but it's grapefruit that's coming out of this one. Some orange, I think. There might be a little bit of a passion fruit, which could be Simcoe, something like that. But yeah, it's got a nice little bit of tropical fruit, but I think the fruity side of this one leans a little bit more towards the orange side of things, although you can pick up that grapefruity note in the beer. There's a little bit of earthiness from the hops as well, and you can pick up some of that kind of typical almost spicy floral aromatic note. There's maybe a wee bit of pine resin in there as well, but I can just detect a wee touch of earthy character as well. So as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck in, but we're going to have a go at this one now. So this one's the Wood Devil Double IPA from 603 Brewery over in Londonderry in New Hampshire in America. Let's get stuck in. Once again, thank you to my parents for bringing this beer back from the States with them, and I hope you guys enjoy my take on it. Slàinte, skål. Yeah, it's pretty nice actually. As I talked about when we did the White Peaks IPA, sorry, this one, it does kind of follow in the same light as that. On first impression, it does lean a little bit more towards the malty side of things. It's not as if it's not that it's lacking in hops, if you like. It just leans a little bit more towards that malty side of things, and it's a nice change of pace actually. When you're reviewing all these big hoppy beast New England IPAs and stuff, it is nice to have something that just leans a little bit more towards the malt. It's just a nice change of pace, this beer. But yeah, that's nice. The one thing it does do quite well actually is that it covers up the alcohol. You know, this one, if you tasted this beer, you know, in fairness, you could guess maybe it's, you know, it's about 7%-ish, 7.5%. You would never guess on tasting that beer that it's 9.2. I think it does cover the alcohol content quite well, to be fair. So yeah, with this one, although in fairness, I've said that now, you can pick up a little bit of warmth down here from it once your palate sort of mellows into it and sort of just adjusts to it, if you like. But yeah, for me, this one's nice. On the hoppy side of things, there's a wee touch of earthiness in the back corners of your palate. As you come forward along the sides of your tongue, you can get a little bit of that kind of dank pine resin-y character in there. There's a little bit of a sort of spicy floral aromatic thing as well. It is quite a spicy floral character along the sides of the tongue with this one. Then round the very front curve of the palate, it's just a little bit lighter and grassy. And if you just go behind the front curve of the palate, there's that nice little oily bubble where the fruity notes come out. The grapefruit's there, but on top of that there's definitely orange. I really do wonder if they've put Amarillo in this one, because it does definitely have a bit of that kind of orangey hint to it. But yeah, it's really nice, this one. Just this beer, It's not too punchy in any one regard. It's more about how the flavours kind of blend together, and that does that well. I do like beers in certain ways that can be really quite punchy with their flavours. This one for me is just a little bit more about how the flavours blend together. And like I said, it's a little bit of a nice kind of change of pace when I consider the other beers that I've been reviewing recently. So they've done a good job of this. I wouldn't hesitate to drink it again. For me, not such a session beer, this one. The other one was a little bit more sessionable, the White Peaks, but you know, as a kind of treat IPA, if you just want something that's that little bit bigger, this one's going to certainly do a job for you. In terms of the malty side of the beer then, for a 9.2% beer, the malt base is really just quite nice and smooth in this one. So you can feel in the middle of your palate where all these malty flavours are going to come out. You can feel a nice little bit of bready character in there. I do wonder, like I said, if there's 2-row malts in there. It just has that. You get 2-row pale and a few different types. And for me, this one's just a little bit sweeter than that. I think it's got a nice kind of almost sweet, almost like brown bready malt base to this one. It's just got a little bit of that grainy sweetness in there. There's a good bit of biscuity character to the malt. As you push out from the middle of the tongue, you can feel a little bit of that biscuity note, but right in the middle of the palate, that's where you've got the sweeter caramel. It's a tiny little bit toasted, but it's a nice kind of sweet, boozy caramel that's coming out of this one, I would say. And like I was mentioning, it's all about how everything goes together. That sort of biscuity and bready character builds a good bridge to the sort of slightly earthy hops that you've got coming out of this one, and it also kind of blends in a little bit with the more floral character that the beer has. Like I say, this is one of these beers where the combination of flavours works really well. It's not too punchy in any one particular regard. I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink it again, and I would say that for a 9.2% beer, it does cover its alcohol quite well. As the beer kind of mellows out a little bit, you do start to get the hops, the bitterness of the hops starts to kind of tone down a little bit, if that makes sense, and the malts do start to push their way out a little bit, but the fruity character's nice. Like I say, a little bit of a grapefruit backbone. On top of that, it's a little bit more of an oily orange, and there is another element of tropical character to this one. I do wonder if there's just a wee bit of passion fruit or pineapple or something like that in this one. So it does, I do wonder if there's a bit of Simcoe in here, but I'm pretty sure, going by the flavour, there's a little bit of Amarillo because of that kind of nice oily orange that's coming out of it. But overall, it is a nice beer, and I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink it again. And as I think a good way to sum this one up, like I was mentioning, is that it's a bit of a different kind of, it's a bit of a change of pace in comparison to some of the other beers you're going to find from New England. It does lean more towards that kind of malty side of things, and in terms of the IPA, the double IPA style, it's definitely more a kind of West Coast IPA than anything else, rather than one of these kind of hazy New England things. So it is cool to find a good West Coast IPA from a New England brewery. In terms of mouthfeel then, I would say this beer is it's probably at the top end of mid-bodied. It's maybe pushing full-bodied actually. It's got quite a nice oily mouthfeel. The carbonation is quite smooth in this one. It really helps bring out the oily character. There's a good little bit of hoppy bitterness. As I was mentioning, when the beer mellows out, that fades away a little bit. There's a good bit of sweetness from the malty notes as well. You've got a nice little bit of juicy fruit, and overall, you know, the alcohol warmth in this one is quite well covered. You do get a little bit of it down here, but overall it is kind of fairly well covered with the beer. But at 9.2%, that's a bit of a difficult thing to do, but as I said, my way to sum up this beer, it's a nice change of pace. It's all about how the flavours kind of go together. It's all about how the flavours combine in this one rather than being too punchy. But overall, a nice beer that I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink again. So if you get the chance to try this one, have a go at it. And I've certainly enjoyed the 2 IPAs that I've had from 603 so far. They do lean a little bit more towards the malty side of things, so if that's what you enjoy, this one's really going to hit the spot for you. So yeah, that's a good way to end this one. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from 603 Brewery. You will see me review one of their stouts, and I believe it's a porter that I have from them as well. So you'll see me review 2 of their darker beers fairly soon. But I hope you've enjoyed this review, and do make sure you check out some of the other ones if you have. So until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff, and do comment in the section below. The White Devil, or the Wood Devil IPA, sorry, double IPA from 603 Brewery over in Londonderry in New Hampshire in America. Slàinte just now.